Welcome to Breakup Cheater, where betrayal has a face and the truth always has teeth. It was just another Tuesday morning, until a knock on the door changed everything. No warning, no clue. Just a man in a suit, holding an envelope that would shatter the very idea of reality. A $10 million lawsuit, from my wife. The same wife who'd been dead for 5 years. What started as a legal summons turned into a dangerous game of deception, greed, and betrayal. And the person behind it all. Someone who once shared my family table, and my wife's blood. It was a calm Tuesday morning, the kind where the quiet hum of the fridge is the loudest thing in the house. No meetings, no deliveries, no unexpected guests. So when the knock came, it immediately set me on edge. I opened the door to see a man in a tailored navy suit. His posture stiff, clutching a manila envelope like it was a classified dossier. "Mr. Lawson?" he asked, his voice clipped professional. "Yes," I said slowly. "I'm here on behalf of your wife. You've been served." I blinked at the envelope, then at him. "My wife?" He nodded, tone flat and rehearsed. "Your wife, Melissa Lawson, is suing you for $10 million. The details are in the summons." For a heartbeat, the world around me went silent. No wind, no birdsong, just the faint creak of the porch beneath our feet. Without thinking, I said something that made the man's polished composure falter. "My wife died 5 years ago." His grip on the envelope tightened. The professional mask cracked ever so slightly. Sorry, sir. There must be a misunderstanding." "No misunderstanding," I said firmly. "Melissa passed away in a car accident. October will mark 5 years." Color drained from his face. He fumbled to open the folder, scanning the documents inside like he was hoping the words would magically rearrange themselves. "I was hired by her legal representative," he stammered. "They assured me she was alive." I stepped aside. "You'd better come in." Inside, he sat on the couch, rifling through papers with trembling hands. I retrieved a small wooden box from the bookshelf, Melissa's death certificate, hospital records, and even the obituary clipped from the Hillside Gazette. He looked over each one, disbelief etched into every line of his face. This isn't possible. Someone filed this lawsuit under her name. They provided identification, signed affidavits. That's when the cold truth started to settle in. Someone was pretending to be my wife. The question wasn't how. It was who and why. I didn't have to wait long for answers. 2 days later, my phone rang from a blocked number. A woman's voice, sweet and smug, filled my ear. "Hello, darling." Surprised to hear my voice. It wasn't Melissa, but the imitation was flawless. The cadence, the inflections, the way she lingered on certain words. Only one person could mimic her like that. Her sister, Vanessa. Vanessa Morgan had always lived in Melissa's shadow. Competitive, envious, quietly resentful. On our wedding day, she made a toast that was supposed to be charming but instead felt like a warning. She joked, "If anything ever happens to my sister, I'll be right here for you." I never imagined she meant it literally. "Vanessa, what the hell is this?" I demanded. She laughed, low and condescending. "Oh, come on, Ethan. You don't really think Melissa intended for you to have everything, do you? Half of that fortune should have been mine. I'm just reclaiming what's owed." "You're committing fraud," I snapped. "She's dead." "Is she?" Vanessa purred. "Because legally the right paperwork makes things interesting. All I needed were a few signatures and some people who can't tell the difference between sisters." It was vile. She had forged documents, assumed Melissa's identity, and was trying to take half my assets through a fabricated divorce. She'd even bought off a handful of officials to back her story. She expected me to cave quietly. She had no idea who she was dealing with. The next morning, I contacted a private investigator I trusted. Within a week, he handed me a thick file that tore Vanessa's scheme to pieces. Surveillance of her meeting with shady legal fixers, recordings of her bragging about suing the widower, bank records tying her to bribery payments. But the rot went deeper. Vanessa wasn't alone. There was a corrupt lawyer who knew Melissa was dead but filed the suit anyway. A notary who forged her signature. Even a judge's assistant who'd been paid to push the case through. Vanessa had built an entire criminal network on the assumption that grief made me weak and bureaucracy would shield her. She miscalculated. Armed with evidence, I filed a countersuit for fraud, identity theft, and conspiracy. Law enforcement raided her home and found an entire room dedicated to the scam. Walls covered in diagrams, timelines, fake IDs, and an inheritance plan so detailed it looked like a crime show set piece. The trial was public. Every sordid detail made the news. Vanessa's smirk vanished when the judge read her charges. Her empire of lies crumbled. The co-conspirators were fined, disbarred, and disgraced. She herself got 8 years in prison. The lawsuit wasn't just dismissed. It became a landmark case in exposing legal corruption. After it was over, I went to Melissa's grave for the first time in months. Standing there, I let the silence wash over me. "Guess what, Mel?" I said softly. "Vanessa tried to pretend she was you. But there's only one Melissa Lawson." The breeze stirred the leaves, and for a moment, I could almost hear her laugh. Life eventually settled into a new rhythm, but I was different. Betrayal had sharpened me. I began volunteering with a legal aid group, helping others who'd been targeted by fraud and identity theft. It wasn't just about moving on. It was about making sure people like Vanessa never got the chance to ruin someone else's life. She thought she could erase the past and steal a life that was never hers. But some legacies can't be forged. Some names are untouchable. Vanessa thought she could steal my wife's name, my life, my future. But some things can't be faked. Some people can't be replaced. Justice isn't always swift, but when it comes, it leaves no doubt. She lost her freedom. I reclaimed my peace. And Melissa's memory remains untouchable. You've just heard another true tale of greed, lies, and the price of deception. Subscribe, and step into the shadows with us again.